The Costco Taste Test. Top Shelf AI meets Bottom Shelf Kimmy. The Costco Taste Test. Top Shelf AI meets Bottom Shelf Kimmy. Post-mortem. Bjorn Snyder. July 19. Ever run the Costco Taste Test? You know the one. Your buddy swears his top shelf vodka is irreplaceable. The bottle is frosted, the label is French, and the price tag needs its own line of credit. So you pour it next to the $14 Costco handle, tie on the blindfold, and watch him confidently pick the cheap stuff. Twice. Then a third time, just to be cruel. By round 4, he's questioning his palate, his purchases, and a few of his life choices. That's the thing about a premium. It doesn't die because the product got worse. It dies the second somebody proves the cheap stuff is just as good. This week, China ran that taste test on the AI trade. Moonshot, a Beijing startup most of the market couldn't have picked out of a lineup on Monday, claimed Friday that its Kimmy K3 model can hang with the best from OpenAI and Anthropic. Cue the DeepSeek flashbacks. Citadel Securities' Noshad Shah put it well. Kimmy isn't quite another DeepSeek moment, but it rhymes. The smartest models on Earth are getting less rare, less American, and a whole lot cheaper. And if genius sells for 2 cents a task, those hundreds of billions in AI spending suddenly need a better explanation. Chips took the punch. TSMC's Thursday results had already knocked the SOX, the semiconductor index, down 4.3%. Friday's Kimmy headline finished the job and shoved it into an official bear market. Thanks for reading the post-mortem. If you want this to consistently land in your inbox, then you know the deal. Subscribed, The Great Unwind. Here's the twist though. Kimmy was the excuse, not the engine. July's real story is that everyone owned the same stocks, with borrowed money, at the same time. When that unravels, selling begets selling. UBS says the funds in its book are cutting risk at the fastest, longest clip since 2018. Goldman's basket of hot momentum names was up 60% on the year a month ago. It's now up 15%, down 26% in July alone. The weird part? The S&P barely blinked while all of this went on underneath it. Meanwhile, the cost of insuring hyperscaler debt quietly hit new highs. Somebody's nervous. Ground zero is Korea. The Kospi dropped 6.5% this week and sits 25% below its June peak. SK Hynix and Samsung are down 40% and 30% from theirs. The pile of leveraged Korea ETFs got chopped in half, from $54 billion to about $25 billion. And by one stat making the rounds, 1 in 30 Korean adults had a margin account liquidated this week. 1 in 30. That's not investors changing their minds. That's a margin clerk with a to-do list. The desks think we're in the late innings. Goldman notes positioning is much cleaner now and there's no actual bad news driving this. UBS's Jason Pearl still likes semis and has the S&P headed to 8,445, and his colleague Rebecca Chong sees real buyers stepping into the down days since July 6th. When positioning is the whole story, the selling stops when the sellers run out, not when the news improves. Meanwhile, in the real economy lost in the AI drama, the banks handed in a report card on the U.S. economy that was almost embarrassingly good. Companies are borrowing at a record pace, up 17% from last year, and even commercial real estate, yes, that commercial real estate, is growing again. Card spending is up 6%. Deal-making fees are up 40% plus. Goldman stock traders alone hauled in $7.42 billion against a $5.02 billion estimate, a record for the third straight quarter. And GS, JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, and BofA all closed at all-time highs. Citi set a record too and still got dinged 5.3% for not setting a bigger one. Tough crowd. Whatever the tape is worried about, it isn't the economy. Warsh grabs the aux cord. June CPI, actually fell 0.4% on the month when the street expected a small dip. Core was flat, and PPI echoed it. Stocks threw their best session of the week. Prices going the right way for once? Party on. Then the new Fed chair grabbed the aux cord. Kevin Warsh, who has quoted Milton Friedman's "Inflation is a choice" in every speech since taking the job, told Congress this is not mission accomplished, and the Fed has no tolerance for persistently high inflation. One good number buys you a party, not a pivot. Where rates go from here depends on who you ask. The market barely prices a hike for July and doesn't fully expect one until December. Shah thinks July is off the table, but September is live for the first of 2 or 3 hikes. And he'd remind you, the World Cup made a mess of this month's data anyway. UBS says, forget hikes entirely. Their call is a cut in March 2027. So the seemingly smartest people in the room are split between raising rates into the midterms and cutting them next spring. Comforting. And with the Fed now in its quiet period, we get a week of silence to argue about it. The war is back. It never left. The ceasefire is done pretending. U.S. strikes hit Iranian military and energy sites around Bandar Abbas this week. The naval blockade is back on, and Tehran resumed lobbing attacks at U.S. allies around the Gulf. Brent snapped back to $85. Shah's warning is the part to underline. The shock absorbers are gone. The strategic reserve is down nearly 100 million barrels since February. Gasoline and diesel stockpiles are running roughly 10% below normal, and refineries are already flat out at 96% capacity. Translation: the next disruption hits you at the pump, not in the futures market. Energy, plus 5.0%, was the week's best sector for a reason. The tape S&P 500, 1.5%, Dow, 0.9%, Nasdaq 100, 4.1%, and the SOX officially in a bear market. Real estate, plus 2.3%, and consumer staples, plus 1.4%, rode the soft CPI. Infotech, 3.8%, and communication services, 2.4%, wore the dunce caps. Next week we find out if this was a fire sale or a fire. Alphabet, Wednesday, and Intel, Thursday, report at home. Texas Instruments, Qualcomm, Samsung, and SK Hynix headline abroad, and UBS argues that if the results hold up, the AI trade gets its groove back, and this whole unwind goes down as a very expensive game of musical chairs. Tesla also prints Wednesday, though with SpaceX public, the spotlight has room to wander. The name brands still own the shelf space and $1 trillion plus in orders. But the market just spent 3 weeks admitting it never checked what's in the bottle or how much it borrowed to buy the case. Blindfolds on. If this was worth your time, help it find someone else. Hit. It takes 1 second and tells the Substack algorithm this note is worth reading. Restack. It helps keep those in your network well informed. Drop a comment. I love to hear different thoughts and perspectives. Thanks for reading the postmortem. If this resonated with you, feel free to share it. Video created by Pictori AI. Text to video feature.